Last week, I made a video covering the most important spawn timings on every map in CS2. But today, we're going to start taking a look at the best opening utility to pair up with these timings, starting with Dust 2. However, before we fully dive in, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. For those of you that don't know, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code CSTactics on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out SkinsMonkey today. Let's get back into the video. Since we already established that the meeting point for long is right at the end of the 1 minute 48 second mark, let's dig into the utility meta. The CT with the best spawn does actually win this race by a pretty narrow margin. As a result, it's common for the T side to flash the CTs off this angle right as the player with the best spawn peeks the corner. Obviously, this is one of the most thrown flashes in all of CS2, and you'll see the pros throwing it by going alongside this corner and doing a simple jump throw just here along the top of the wall. You want to time this right as the T is moving through the first set of doors. To cancel this out, naturally the CTs started throwing a flash of their own at the 1 minute 49 second mark to catch any of the Ts as they're exiting the doorway. This is most commonly thrown by going right along this corner and doing a left click up from this little cross on the pharmacy sign. Just make sure your teammates are pretty close to the corner or else they're gonna eat it. This is gonna often result in a flashbang stalemate on long, or at the very least a contest to see which side can throw more at the beginning of the round. However, since the CTs are able to slightly win this race, they can throw an incendiary inside the entrance of the doorway, disrupting any sort of T-side aggression. You'll also notice a lot of pros looking in towards this wall to dodge those deep early flashes to avoid missing their molly. Now, especially since the incendiary nerf, the Ts will often disrespect the flames and just jump all the way over towards blue, and if you don't spot them as they cross, it may be a little bit surprising to run into. That's why in a lot of pro matches you'll see the CTs delaying a moment, then mollying blue by banking it off this wall, and then of course peeking into the burning player. However, more coordinated T-sides will hold a player at blue temporarily, then throw a flash to allow them to peek with their teammates going through the doors. To combat this, pro teams have started throwing early door smokes from the elevator corner by simply aiming at the lower left portion of this smaller piece of sheet metal and doing a simple jump throw. And as you can see, this thing's gonna land right here behind the door, completely smoking it off. This times out well to where the player throwing the door smoke can move alongside the corner here and throw a variety of flashes to have the CTs peek out with after mollying blue. The door smoke denies easy trade opportunities and will often lead to full long control. And hey, here's one of the 12 times Nico threw this at IEM Melbourne, since every time I show off the smoke, a lot of armchair IGLs like to tell me it's bad. But alright, let's go ahead and get back on track. To make things a lot harder for the CTs, teams have begun throwing a deeper corner smoke than in previous metas. This is to specifically cut off the CT side from long, forcing them to either play in front of it or push through it and take a more even duel. To throw this, all you have to do is go alongside the corner right here and do a simple jump throw at this position, and you're gonna have a nice and deep tucked corner smoke that's gonna make it pretty difficult for any of those CT trades. At this point in the fight, it just starts to come down to firepower, as we've done as much as we can to level the playing field with utility. Alright, so now let's move on to mid, more specifically, Cat. When taking the best spawn versus best spawn, the contact point is right here at 146. Since this is a pretty contested area, there's some pretty nifty ways to take control. My favorite flash on the entire map is thrown from this corner right here, and is either a left click up towards this light, or a left and right click jump throw at this position along the door. This is a perfect one-way flash, completely blinding all of Cat, but leaving your teammates unscathed. You can pair that up with the smoke from the same position by aiming at this little dot and doing a jump throw. That's going to deny visibility here, making it safer for your teammates to peek Cat. Ideally, the player with the best spawn will throw a molly deep into lower, preventing a surprising peek from the tunnels lurker. As long as it's thrown just as they round the corner, there's still plenty of time to pull out the rifle and take the fight. And finally, the second player on Cat should probably be doing a right-click jump throw at this window right here to blind anyone crazy enough to run across to the right side of Cubby right off the bat. This should definitely create enough chaos and advantage to get some serious opening duels, which is why I see a lot of teams just simply mollying off short at the beginning of the round. Now, realistically, most teams are smoking off the mid doors so that they can actually get out and take those fights on cat without having to worry about a mid-site opper. So to do that, you can go right alongside this crack and do a jump throw at this dark spot right here on the wall. That's going to land right here in the center of the doorway and expand all the way up to the top. You shouldn't really be throwing the old school Xbox smoke anymore just because it's going to deny visibility for any of your players that decide to go down and lower. If you're throwing that, the CTs won't even have to burn a molly on the lower in the first place. Of course, one set to fully deny all of this is by dropping down here, running into this corner and smoking off mid, and then backing up and immediately mollying off all of cat. The lineup for mid is pretty darn easy. All you're gonna do is find the bottom right of this bracket right here and do a simple left click throw on it, and the molly, you just kind of wing it, aiming up at this region and just doing a run throw with the molly. Now, when it comes to the B site, the CTs have a significant advantage, not necessarily because of the spawn timing, but because of how easy it is to obliterate a B rush with some well-timed utility. I like to throw my molly just before I enter the site and then release an HE grenade at 146, which happens to be the perfect timing to drill the best spawn on T side. And of course, I'm throwing the molly that early so that it's fully ticked by the time the T's get there. And no matter what utility the T's throw, a few well-placed grenades could shut down even the best teams in the world, not to mention if two defenders are both throwing HEs. And believe it or not, the CTs can even slip through lower and make contact at a whopping 147, so it may be a good idea to throw a molly or at least have someone holding there if you decide to rush B. If you want to learn the best utility for a B rush, I have a video covering that topic on every single map in CS2, so feel free to check it out by clicking on the card in the top right now, or clicking the link in the description. But that just about wraps up all of my recommended opening utility for Dust 2. Hopefully all of these explanations and lineups help you out in your next Premier or Face It match, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments below. Before I go, I do want to thank all of my channel members on screen right now. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do what I love every single day, and I'll see you in the next one.